Today is a great day for people here in Sainteville and in the cities all around because we have officially begun the work on the new bridge.
Yeah, that's great news, kind of, sort of, not exactly, because the bridge is going to be closed all this weekend anyway. But she is talking, of course, of the new Ile-aux-Tour bridge, which, according to the press conference, that's Genevieve Guilbeault, our transport minister, could be up and running by 2026. Now, that won't be the complete bridge with all the lanes. That's not till 2027. But when I saw the story, we've been talking about this Ile-aux-Tour bridge fiasco situation now for a long time. Paola Hawa, who is the mayor out in St. Anne de Bellevue, and I saw this on TV, on CTV the other day. Paola, you asked a really good question, which was, okay, we're getting this new bridge. How did no one think to take this plan, because this thing is like 60 years old, and think, looking into the future perhaps a little bit, that it might be a really good idea to put a rail line over it to help, motorists so they don't have to take their cars. So I want you to go over that part of it, because I don't think most people understand. This is not a radical new idea for building this bridge. This is, as I said, is taking an original plan and just finally getting it done. Is that right?
Well, no, actually, it's even worse than the original plan, because the original plan that was laid out in 2018, and I have the report right in front of me, called for 3 lanes in both directions, and each direction would have 2 shoulders, with one shoulder being dedicated to mass transit. What you have now is less than that. It's one shoulder. So in 2018, they knew that their objective was to make it accessible for mass transit, and we're moving backwards from there. Basically, what we have now is a copy and paste of the same design that we had in 1965.
Wow.
And I understand a lot of talk right now about, the pain that people are feeling being stuck in traffic and all that stuff. But there really is a more important subject right now that we need to address and just shift our focus a little bit is, how did we get here, number one? And number two, where are we going? The report that I have in front of me in 2018 says that the bridge needs urgent repairs and lays out a schedule of when a new bridge should be functional, which was 2024, 2025. Now, when I hear the minister or anybody else from the MTQ say, we're a year ahead of schedule, we're going to have 2 lanes open by 2026, frankly, that's insulting. That's insulting to our intelligence. And how in 2023 or 2024 you can go about putting in a bridge that meets the needs of 1965, I don't understand. I don't understand. And we need to insist as West Islanders, as Off Islanders, to say, no, we're not going to accept that. That is not good enough. And my question is, how was the Champlain Bridge rebuilt in 4 years with a REM line going through it, bike paths, all that wonderful stuff? They did that in 4 years. So say whatever you want about the feds and, whether they're competent or incompetent or whatever. But when I take a look at a big project like that was completed in 4 years with all the bells and whistles that meets the current needs anyway, and we say we can't do it, we've got to go back to a 1965 design. And we've known since 2014, we've known that this needed to be done. And in 2018, somebody sounded the alarm at the MTQ, and yet nothing has been done. And then we hear the minister a few days ago, say, isn't this fantastic? We're starting. You're starting? Really? Come on.
I'm going to ask the question that is probably, sort of the part you're not supposed to say out loud, but do you think it's because of where it's located in Quebec and who that bridge serves primarily?
Well, listen, I think it's pox on everybody's house that has been at the provincial level. We've had, the PQ in there, we've had the Liberals in there, and now we have the CAQ. So I think it's just a question that we are very polite on the West Island, and we don't like to rock the boat. But I think at this point, we need to start rocking the boat and saying, you know what, this is not acceptable. We're not gonna accept this. We need something better. You need to take to spend the energy, the time, and the money on us. Let's not forget that the Ontario-Quebec line, or that section of the 40, is basically our strategic economic engine. That's where all the trucks come in from. That's where all the trade happens. So, it's one thing to say, okay, we're making residents' lives miserable, but you're also having a very important impact on the economy.
Look, I saw at this press conference, the mayor of Centerville, the mayor of Vaudreuil-Dorion was there. You weren't there, were you?
No, I wasn't.
No. Why weren't you there?
Well, listen, why am I going to put on a hard hat and steel-toed boots just for a dog and pony show? There was no point in being there. This announcement that they made on Monday, they basically said the same thing back in April. So I understand strategically they had to make the announcement, but it is really like, been there, heard it, seen it.
Go ahead.
My question, Mayor, is, okay, so you're saying, no, this is unacceptable. It's been unacceptable for a very long time, but something has to be done here. Change has to happen. How do you actually get the province to listen?
Well, I think, one thing that politicians always understand is pushback from, a groundswell of people. And I'm not saying just one mayor or two mayors saying something. I'm saying a whole bunch of people have to get together and say, write to your MNA, write to Legault if you have to, write to Guilbeault if you have to. Let's organize, concerted effort, just a visual of, no, we're not going to take this, and you need to listen to us, and you need to meet our needs.
To my question, first of all, this seems perfect to me as a project that would need or would benefit from public consultation, number one. I'm not sure that that's in this plan anywhere. I'm guessing it's not.
Well, what the funny thing is, it was done in 2014. The public consultation was done in 2014.
Okay. And what came from that?
Well, that report from 2018 that said the bridge is in need of urgent repair.
That's it?
And it needs to be done as soon as possible. Yes?
Wow, that's quite a public consultation. There's a bridge falling down. We need to fix it. Can we get on that right away?
Well, exactly.
Okay.
So my question is, there are really two things that we need to do at this point, in my opinion anyway. Number one, we need to have some kind of inquiry to see, how did we get to this point? How did you know for over 10 years that there's something wrong with the bridge, something structurally wrong with the bridge? How did nobody at the MTQ do anything about it? What happened? What within the structure of the MTQ made it so they were ineffective? That's number one. And number two is standing up and saying, this design, this 1965 design that you're trying to sell to us for 2024 or 2026 is just not acceptable. Go back to the drawing board.
I will ask you one last question. We have to wrap up. So I asked you why you didn't show up, and I understand that. It was silly for you to be there to photo op when obviously you're laying out the reasons why this plan is really not a very good one. Why were the other mayors there? Have you, because these are all mayors in local communities that are affected by this bridge, they all seem to be on side. Do you have consultations with them? Do you not all talk together?
Well, as a matter of fact, yes. Mayor Pilot and myself are meeting next week to try and figure out a way forward and to try and find a way to convince the MTQ to redesign or relook at the design that they're proposing. So, yes, we do speak. We do speak.
Okay. Look, I imagine there's going to be maybe not. You know what? They're usually, if you had a citizen backlash, I mean, the government would be listening. I'm not so sure that a whole lot gets done here at this point. Now that they said there's going to be a new bridge, so it's even more frustrating to consider that. But
persistence breaks resistance.
Yeah. Sure. Well, let's hope so.
That's the only thing that's going to bring change.
I have to just say, I love that you didn't just show up for the photo op. I love that you were like, no, that's okay. I'll just take a pass. Good on you. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, the rebel mayor of Sainte de Bellevue.
Well, not really. Just a logical one.
Absolutely.
A logical one.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us. We'll keep an eye on this story.
You.